All right, good afternoon. Are you Jennifer Houston? All right, thank you, Miss Houston. Mr. Dale Wallace is not here today, but he is aware that you are here and proceeding on his behalf.
Yes.
All right. Are you here? Are you here without an attorney and wanting to proceed without an attorney today?
Yes.
Okay.
Come a little closer to
Come a
this
little
mic.
closer. And the same for you, officer. If you could try to get about 3 or 4 inches away from the mic. Thank you. All right. All right, Miss Houston. Several charges here. Do you admit or deny the violations? Let me back up. There's a charge that you failed to avoid disturbing the peace of the community on April 14th, 2012. Do you admit or deny that charge?
Aye.
Okay. And do you admit or deny that you were not in good standing with the Maryland Department of Assessments and Taxation on September 27th, 2012?
Yes.
You admit that?
Yes.
All right. And further, do you admit or deny that you were not, that your personal property taxes for Baltimore City were not paid for 2011 to 12?
Yes.
Okay, you admit that. All right.
I'm sorry. Can you go back to the one that I said I didn't admit? Let me
Yes.
Understand that a little bit.
Allegedly, there is a violation that has been filed, a charge for disturbing the peace, wherein on April 14th, 2012, it says the licensee assaulted a woman at the licensed premises. Do you admit or deny? And I haven't read the police report. I haven't heard from the officer here.
I admit,
You admit that you did assault someone at the premises.
so to speak.
All right, well, we're going to hear from you, but is this an admission? You're admitting?
Yes.
Okay. You're admitting that you you failed to avoid disturbing the peace, safety, health, quiet, and general welfare of the community by assaulting a person at the premises on April 14, 2012. You don't have to admit it. We're gonna have a trial. We have the officer here. But if this is how we proceed. That's why I asked you if you wanted a lawyer, because
Well-
that's how we proceed. You either admit or you deny. If you deny, we go straight to the officer's testimony and hear from him or her. If you admit, it is slightly more abbreviated.
You want to reconsider your decision to proceed without an attorney? Ms. Houston, you have to answer.
No, I'm gonna proceed.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we're going to enter a denial as to the 3.12 charge based on what I consider to be conflicting signals from you, Miss Houston, as to whether or not you want to admit that. We'll hear at this time from Officer Chris Oliver. All right, Officer Oliver, you are Baltimore City Police Officer, isn't that right, sir? Yes, sir. All right, and you filed a report in this matter dated April 14, 2012.
Sir.
All right, tell us what happened in the subject establishment on that date, sir.
All right, April 14th, around 6 p.m., I was working uniform patrol. I got a call at 1145 Hollins, which is Zella's Pizzeria. Came out as an injured person. When I spawned on scene, there was a victim, Dawn Green, in the back of a medic. Further investigation revolved at Miss Houston, who was working behind the bar, had a dispute with a employee who was just fired, Denise McGorell, probably pronouncing that wrong. Well, in the dispute, Miss McGorell was leaving, walking out the door. Miss Houston threw a pint glass in an attempt to hit her. She missed and struck Dawn Green, who was sitting at the bar, in the head, the left side. Dawn Green went unconscious, was taken to shock trauma, stitches in the left side of the head, also suffered a seizure at the bar.
All right, any additions or corrections to your report dated April 14, 2012? All right, we're going to mark that as an exhibit. first exhibit by the agency in this matter. That's agencies 1, the police report dated April 14, 2012 from Officer Chris Oliver. All right, you had a chance, Officer Oliver, to interview Miss Houston?
I didn't interview her in a setting other than at the scene. She was taken down to her DDU detectives, so I'm not sure what happened down there.
All right, have you followed any criminal case in this matter?
I know I went to circuit court. I'm not sure the outcome.
All right, thank you very much. All right, do you have any questions for Officer Oliver, Miss Houston? You can ask him a question about his report, about what he just testified to, but just questions. You'll have a chance to make statements about your version of the events later on.
Yes, officer, do you have any proof that the individual had a seizure? Do you have any medical?
Well, I didn't bring the medical documents, but that was what it was stated to me at shock trauma and by the medics who treated her at the scene.
I'm sorry, both of you have to come closer to the microphone.
Thank you. Miss Houston,
Pull it closer to you. There you go.
you asked if he had any proof that she had a seizure.
If you had any medical proof that she had a seizure, any medical proof that she also had stitches?
Well, stitches, yes. There's crime lab photos were taken at the hospital at shock trauma of her injuries to her head, of the stitches. As far as the seizure, I was told by physicians and EMT on scene that she had a seizure.
All right, any other questions, Miss Houston? All right. Any other evidence, any other testimony whatsoever about this incident?
No.
Okay. All right, this will be your chance now, Miss Houston, to tell us what happened.
Okay. I was conducting orientation with about 14 people interested in a job. Two ladies came in for pizza, to get slices of pizza.
I'm going to need you to speak a little louder.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous.
Okay.
I have had an employee who I had previously gave a couple of days off because of some things that she did that were not right on the job.
What was her name?
Her name is Denise McGurl.
Okay, Denise McGarrell. Okay.
I met back with her after she returned, after and brought her back to the job after she was had been off. So she was already a little bit disgruntled. On this particular day, as I said, I was meeting with, doing orientation for some people that I was hiring. Denise was the cook that day. Two ladies came in. Miss Dawn was one of them, and she ordered 2 slices of pizza. I saw her when she came in because she was, because of what she had on, and she was just noticeable. So as I was sitting at the table talking to the group, I noticed her when she came in. I also noticed her and her girlfriend when they left. By the time I finished with orientation, Miss Dawn had come back into the restaurant with her bag, with her pizza, and she gave it to my server, who in turn brought it to me and said, "Look at this." There were 2 very, very badly burned pizza. And I'm not just talking about burned, I'm talking about crispy pizza that a 5-year-old wouldn't even send out. And she saw it, I saw it, and it was just unbelievable to me. And I went to the customer and apologized and said, we don't do this. This is not how we handle our business, and this is not what we serve. And I told her I'd be right back, and I would make her a new pizza on the house. I went back into the kitchen, and I approached Miss McGarrel and said, "Why would you send this out?" And she just kind of looked at me bluntly, without a response other than body language. So I told her, I cannot do this. I have to let you go, because if you don't know better than to send this out, the fact that you would even send this out was just crazy. So I proceeded to make another pizza as she gathered her things. I came out of the kitchen. She had also, two of the ladies that were there for orientation were also sitting at the bar. And they had put in an order. She had begun their order prior to this Miss Dawn coming back into the restaurant. And when I took the pizza up to Miss Dawn and apologized and this and that, one of the young ladies said, please tell her, just send mine through one time. And so when I went to the back and I expressed myself to her and told her that, this is unacceptable. Meanwhile, the other pizza had come out, which was also burned. She came out of the kitchen. At the end of the bar, we had a conversation. She was waiting for her husband to come and pick her up. But meanwhile, she was very abusive and disrupt in the restaurant, telling the other people that were there for jobs that, they don't want to work here, and just really badgering myself and badgering the business. The woman who was waiting for the other pizza, she was telling her that this is how she teaches me to cook it, and just on and on and on, and the pizza came out, and I said, what about this one? She and I were having a conversation. She was across the bar and I was on the other side, and she began she just was talking back and forth badly about the business. She was upset because I had just, fired her, and she had the pizza on the counter, and I felt that she was going to throw this plate, and so I stepped aside, and sure enough, she picked it up and she threw it across to the bar. It broke up all my glasses and things in the back, and really, I am on quite a bit of medicine due to I'm a 2-time liver transplant recipient, and I had taken some cold medicine, and with the stress, and I was under a lot of stress, and that was upsetting to me. And so when she threw that plate, I just lost it for a moment, and I just threw the glass back at her. Unfortunately, there were 3 people in the restaurant. Miss Dawn was one who was sitting at the counter, and the other two ladies were sitting there. And unfortunately, it hit her right here on the head as it hit the ground. It was an instant response that I do regret. However, I did go downtown and I did tell them what happened, and it was an accident, a bad accident when it hit this customer. However, I did take responsibility, and I told them, yes, this is what happened, and that was my response.
Were you arrested?
Yes, I was.
Did you what happened when you went to circuit court?
And you've been at this location since November?
Since November of 2010.
All
This
right.
is my first
This is your first what?
restaurant business.
Mhm.
I worked for the government for 18 years.